Did you hear what Johnny Depp just said about love? It's honestly shocking, and not in the way you might expect. You might think, yeah, he's been through a lot in his personal life, why should I listen to him about love? But here's the thing, Johnny Depp's thoughts on love go way deeper than any Hollywood cliché. And when you think about it, who better than someone who's been through the highs and lows of relationships to drop some real truth about the topic? Let's be real for a second, love is something that we all strive for. We grow up hearing stories about what love should look like, fairy tales where two people meet, fall in love, and live happily ever after. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of love being this perfect, flawless thing. But Johnny Depp? Well, he's telling us that love is actually so much more complex than that. It's not some picture-perfect fantasy, it's messy, unpredictable, and sometimes, it doesn't look the way we think it should. And you know what? Maybe that's exactly how love should be. Think about all the movies where love is portrayed as this idealized thing. You know, the kind where the couple looks at each other and suddenly everything falls into place. But Johnny Depp has a completely different take. For him, love is not about that instant connection or that crazy romantic spark you see in movies. No, love is about so much more. He's telling us that it's about accepting the messiness of it all, the ups, the downs, the unpredictability. And let's face it, who hasn't experienced that? We all have moments where we wonder if we're doing love the right way. How many times have you thought that maybe you weren't doing enough to make it work? Or you've tried to fix things, only to realize the more you try, the more things fall apart? That's real life. And Johnny Depp, who has been through his own share of emotional roller coasters, is showing us that the key to real love lies in accepting that it won't always be perfect. One of the most powerful things Depp shares is this idea that love starts with you. Now, I know, you're probably thinking, oh great, another love yourself first speech. But trust me, Depp's message goes beyond that. He's not just talking about self-love in the way we usually hear about it. What he's really getting at is that before you can ever love someone else, you have to be okay with who you are. You have to accept yourself, flaws and all, because if you're constantly looking for someone else to fix you or fill in the gaps, you're never going to find true happiness. And isn't that true? How many times have we found ourselves looking for someone to make us feel whole? Maybe it's not even romantic love, sometimes it's just the desire for validation or for someone to tell us that we matter. But Depp's message is clear, if you're not okay with yourself, how can you expect someone else to love you in the way you deserve? It all starts from within. Self-love isn't about being perfect, and it isn't about having everything figured out. It's about understanding that you're enough, exactly as you are. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, I'm okay with me. And here's the kicker, when you do that, everything else changes. You no longer seek validation from others, because you've already given it to yourself. And that's when the real magic happens. Think about how different your relationships might be if you truly embraced this idea. You wouldn't be constantly seeking reassurance or approval from your partner because you've already built that foundation of self-acceptance. You wouldn't be afraid to show your true self, your quirks, your insecurities, your flaws, because you know that's the part of you that deserves love. And the best part? When you're comfortable in your own skin, you attract people who are also comfortable with who they are. That's the kind of love Depp is talking about. Real, authentic, and grounded in self-respect. But let's be honest, self-love isn't always easy. We live in a world that constantly tells us we need to be more, do more, be better. It's easy to get caught up in that pressure. But the key is to stop trying to measure up to someone else's standards. What matters is how you feel about yourself, not how anyone else thinks you should feel. Now, let's talk about freedom. Johnny Depp has a very interesting point about love being not about control, but about freedom. This is a game changer, especially when it comes to relationships. How many times have we found ourselves trying to change the person we're with? We've all been there, right? You love someone, and you see potential in them, so you try to help them change, thinking you're doing it for the right reasons. But Depp's saying that love isn't about changing anyone. It's about letting them be who they are and giving them the freedom to grow into their best self, even if that doesn't look like what you imagined. This idea of freedom in love is so crucial. Love isn't about molding someone into your idea of what they should be. It's not about controlling their actions, their decisions, or their feelings. It's about accepting them for who they are, good, bad, and everything in between. And, let's be real, how many times have we tried to control or change our partners? We do it out of love, thinking that if they could just be a little bit different, things would be better. But that's not love. That's fear. Love is about letting go of that fear and giving your partner the space they need to be themselves. It's about trusting them to make their own choices, to make mistakes, and to grow at their own pace. This is where real trust comes into play. When you truly love someone, you give them the freedom to be who they are, without the need to control or change them. And when you can do that, it's a beautiful thing. This freedom also applies to you. You shouldn't have to change who you are to make someone else happy. You deserve to be loved for who you are, not for who someone else wants you to be. And that's where true love comes in, when both people can exist freely, with the space to grow, evolve, and become better versions of themselves, all while supporting each other along the way. Depp's perspective on love also goes beyond the surface-level connection we often get caught up in. He talks about love being about connection, real, deep, meaningful connection. This isn't just about physical attraction or fleeting moments of excitement. It's about truly understanding the other person. It's about being there for them in ways that go beyond just the romantic gestures or the sweet things you say. Think about it. How often do we hear the phrase, "I love you," in relationships? And while those words are important, they can sometimes feel empty if they aren't backed up by action. What Depp is saying is that love isn't just about saying the right things, it's about showing it. It's about being present in the moments that matter, even when things aren't perfect. Real love is about understanding each other's fears, dreams, and weaknesses. It's about being there for the tough times, not just the fun ones. And let's face it, it's easy to be loving when everything's going smoothly. But true love shows up when things get tough, when you have to support each other through challenges. That's the kind of love Depp believes in. Now, let's get practical. If we take Depp's advice to heart, what does that look like in everyday life? First, it starts with you. You've got to invest time in yourself, your hobbies, your passions, your mental and emotional health. Once you're whole on your own, you can bring that wholeness into your relationships. The truth is, no one can fix you. You've got to do the work on yourself first. And that work doesn't mean being perfect. It just means being okay with who you are. Next, stop trying to control your partner. Let them be who they are. Yes, it's hard to let go of the idea of changing someone, but once you do, you'll realize how freeing it is. Relationships work best when both people are allowed to grow at their own pace, without the pressure of becoming someone they're not. And finally, focus on the deep connection. Take the time to truly understand the person you're with. Ask the hard questions, have the tough conversations, and don't shy away from vulnerability. It's through those deep moments that love becomes something real, something lasting. Johnny Depp's take on love might be surprising to some, but it's exactly what many of us need to hear. Love isn't about being perfect or controlling. It's about freedom, connection, and self-acceptance. When we embrace these truths, we open the door to real, lasting love. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of love we all deserve. So, what do you think? Do you agree with Depp's take on love? Or do you have a different perspective? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear what you think. And if you enjoyed this, make sure to check out our other videos on relationships and love. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep loving the real way.